So traders, the mining sector, the overall mining sector itself has been getting a pretty big drop today. The GDX was down over 2.5% today, and there's obviously a lot of people a bit worried about what's going on right now. So I want to share with you what I'm seeing right now on the short-term level basis, why there could be more weakness coming into the market, but why I believe that in the overall long term, I'm actually really excited about the mining sector. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab access to that free trading course. Now let's get into the overall sector through here. Now, one thing I've noticed with the overall markets themselves, okay, so whenever you're trading the markets, one thing I've always seen is that whenever we go through these bull legs in the markets, most of the time, and this is always the thing about trading, right, is that every now and then you're going to get maybe 20% of the time something doesn't work. Now, what am I talking about here? I have a rule of thumb that if we start to get more than say three stair steps, we're getting towards the end of that bull leg before we start to go through, I would say, some sort of sideways, some sort of period, right? And I've just noticed myself that most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time we'll start to get 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4, but we start to get sort of this sort of action up towards here after, say, the third stair step. Right, so we end up going through a big bull leg, one stair step, 2 stair step, 3 stair step, and then we end up going through here, and then we refuel, and then we get going again. Okay, so if we have a look at, say, what's happening right now on the GDX, right? So on the GDX, on this daily chart through here, one thing that we see here is that we can see how that we have been making a low. Okay, we made a higher low through here. So that was really, maybe that one there, same low. 1, 2, 3 stair steps now in this upward movement, and now we had a big move up, and now we're getting a move to the downside. All right, so that's what we're seeing that's going on through here when it comes to the overall GDX3. Okay, now one of the big things I always like to see what's going on is I always like to look at the weekly charts, because the weekly chart gives me just a much bigger picture about what's going on. So the first thing I can see here on the weekly chart here in the mining sector is that we did indeed actually just hit this massive double top through here, right? Top through here, okay? And we are still stair stepping up. So if we have a look at this through here on this GDX chart, we can see here that we've had this low point, higher low, and maybe another slight little higher low here, okay? So we are in a very strong upward trend. So we may just be getting a bit of a rejection here for a bit, like that, and then maybe we get going again. I'm not bearish in the markets at all. Well, I can't be bearish here. If I say I'm bearish the mining sector right now, or should I say I'm bearish GDX, then I know myself that that's my thoughts, right? Well, I think the market's going to go down. Well, if the market is actually trending up, which it is, higher lows, then we're probably not going to be making any real big movement. Probably when it comes to a crash, that's probably not going to happen, right? Now it can morph into something else and something different, but that's what's going on right now with the mining sector. If we do get like a bit of a drop down through here, I'm expecting, again, even if we do get a movement down through here, I'm expecting that, and then maybe something like that, and then maybe a continuation, and then a nice big move. If we move over now through to the GDXJ, okay, so let's go to the GDXJ, the daily charts. As you can see, we are in a very strong upward movement from here. Very, very, very strong upward movement. Let me bring on this chart from here to here, and let me squeeze my charts up, okay? So one thing that I use is, again, I'm looking at my markets from here. I'm looking at my trend. So I'm looking at the lows and the highs, okay? And I'm looking at the lows and highs, and I'm looking at what's happened through here. And all I can see what's happened right now on this GDX chart. And as you can see, right, guys, one thing that's so important is you analyze that particular market on itself. So even though GDX and GDXJ are the gold mining sector, right? I'm making my decision of what's happening right now on that individual market, right? So now I did my analysis on GDX, move on from there. Now I'm doing my analysis on GDXJ. Because they are different, okay? They are different. They're not the exact same. So even like, for example, the GDX is where? The GDX is up here, isn't it? The GDX is up here, but the GDXJ is not. So we can't say, well, the gold mining sector is, and we can't do that, okay? But we can say GDX is and GDXJ is, okay? So when we now go to this one here, and if I bring up my charts, one thing you'll notice is that if I zoom my charts out a bit more, what do you notice from here? Notice that I always like the moving average because the moving average really helps me get into the overbought and oversold sections. Notice that whenever we get too far away, whenever we get too far below it or too far above it, what do we end up doing? We end up coming back to it, right? So it's just a rule of thumb that helps me with these overbought and oversold sections. Overbought, oversold. And if we are going to go in a downward trend, what happens, right? We get oversold and then we come back up, move to the moving average, oversold, as you can see, right? So we get these movements from here to here to here to here to here, okay? So you can see what's going on from here, right? So we can see we have a low and a higher low and a higher low and a higher low from here, right? So we can see all that's what's going on right now. So the really big thing that I'm noticing right now when it comes to this here, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, is yes, we're in a very big upward trend, but look how far away we are from the moving average. So all that simply means is that while we're in a very big, strong upward trend on this mining sector, that the mining sector that right now the mining sector is, actually I just noticed, look at that, we actually are at a bit of a short-term double top, aren't we? Short-term double top, pull through here. But the big thing I really want to sort of just guide you from here is we are getting pretty far away from the moving average. So what does that simply mean? On a short-term level, right? Because this is what can happen sometimes. We have this, let's just say for example, this is the moving average. Let's go, right? So this is the moving average here, right? So how does the market work, right? So then we go through here. Just say we went up from here, we had this, right? We had that, and then we up, big move to the upside. We normally come back down, and that sort of creates the trend, right? The higher lows. As soon as we get too far away from the moving average, we end up getting a pullback to it. And all that simply does is what? Just like back here, right? Look at here. Low, higher low, up, pull back to the moving average and back up again. Maybe pull back through here, get the moving average catching up through here somewhere. Maybe something like that, and away we go. See that through there? So it's just a rhythm. So even if we get some short-term dropping in the market, it's just creating the trend. Once we know that, then you definitely would want to be, just going with that. SIL, the SIL market as well too. SIL has actually really been very strong. And the really big thing, the really big key, guys, I really want to sort of stress here, is the power of the higher time frame moving average. That is the weekly chart. The power of the weekly chart moving average. Through all of this gyrations, check this out. Look at this here. Through all of this look at all that volatility. Now, what was the number one thing that was giving you confidence that we're about to see this move overall? Now, we didn't know exactly when, right? We just don't know. But this overall move here came from why? Because that weekly chart, look at the moving average. Even though we had all this volatility, we had a big move down from here, right? A big move down, and we had all this, still that volatility. What was the moving average doing? See the moving average? The moving average stayed strong to the upside, right? What does that mean? It's such a powerful, powerful thing that I noticed in the markets. And if you want to be on the right side more than wrong, we want to be going with the overall momentum, right? So if you're trying to short through here, probably would have been very, very difficult and very risky because the moving average was saying that, yeah, there's actually a good chance, there's actually a high probability that we're probably likely to hold and pick back up to the upside. Make sense? So that's what we're seeing there from the SIL perspective. And then also same for the SILJ as well too, right? So the SILJ, look at this here. Very strong moving average on the weekly charts. So all this crazy volatility that we've had over many, 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 many months. And let me bring up this chart again. Look at this here. Up, down, up, down, up, down. This daily chart was what? Volatile. There was no trend, no highs and lows in an upward trend basis or downward trend. The moving averages were very volatile, very confused, right? I'm not too quite sure. Then when I go to my weekly charts here, I can see, oh, but the moving average is still trending to the upside. That means we could start to get ready for another nice move to the upside. So through here, that would have kept you on the more of a bullish tone, saying, okay, we could be getting ready for another big move to the upside due to the fact that we've still got that very strong moving average coming up.